Hello students, it's Nazia Begum here welcoming you all in today's lecture. So today we are going to start a very important topic of this chapter, that is total internal reflection. Total internal reflection takes place in the phenomena of refraction. So let's see how it occurs. Here in front of you, you can see one diagram is there. Okay, this is denser medium and this is rarer medium. The light ray is going from denser medium to rarer medium. Okay, this arrow sign you can see. The light ray is going from denser to rarer medium. Here, we know the rule of refraction that when a light ray goes from denser medium to rarer medium, it moves away from the normal. Okay, when the light ray goes normally, so without refraction it passes through the boundary and there will be no refraction. But when the light ray falls obliquely on the boundary of between two media, that time refraction takes place. Here, when we talk about this first ray, it should go like this. Okay, here it should go like this straight. But because of refraction, when it goes from denser medium to rarer medium, it moves away from the normal and it bends a little. Okay. Now, if we further increase value of angle I, then value of R also will increase. For a particular value of I, the value of R will become 90 degree. Okay, as we continue increasing the value of angle I, the value of angle R also increases. Okay, the ray will bend more and more and more, and for a particular value of I, value of R becomes 90 degree. After this, what happened? If we further increase value of I, then the value of R also will increase, and in place of going in rarer medium, the refracted ray comes back in the denser medium. Is it clear, student? Here what we are doing? We have one particular value of I for which we have a particular value of R. As we increase value of I, value of R also increases. Then for a particular value of I, we have R equals to 90 degree. Now if we further increase I, then the ray will come back here in the denser medium. The ray is continuously coming this side. Okay, R's value is increasing with the increase in angle I. So for particular angle, R will be 90 degree. Okay, after this if we further increase I, so the ray will come back to the denser medium. This phenomena of coming back of the ray in denser medium is called total internal reflection. Why? Because here the ray comes back in the first medium, that means it is reflection here but not the refraction. Is it clear, students? So here we have a particular value of I for which value of R is 90 degree. This value of I is called critical angle, and critical angle is having different values for different pair of media. Okay, for different pairs like air to water, water to air, glass to water, like that different mediums are there. For that I is having different values. Okay, so what is critical angle? Critical angle is the value of angle of incidence. A general mistake which students do is that when they have been asked about critical angle, They write that critical angle is R. When R is 90 degree, it is called critical angle. This is wrong. Critical angle is not the value of angle of refraction. It is the value of angle of incidence. Okay? A particular value of angle of incidence for which the value of angle of refraction is 90 degree is called angle of critical angle. Is it clear? So critical angle is actually value of angle of incidence for which R becomes 90 degree. And if angle of incidence for any given pair, if angle of incidence is more than critical angle, then the ray does not pass through the boundary between two media, but it comes back in the denser medium. And this phenomena is called total internal reflection. Now let's see the definition of those two terms. So here you can see definition of critical angle. The angle of incidence in the denser medium for which the angle of refraction in the rarer medium is 90 degree is called critical angle of the denser medium and is denoted by IC. So one thing we have to be careful that critical angle is in denser medium and angle of refraction equals to 90 degree, that is in rarer medium. So basically we have two conditions for total internal reflection to take place. First, the light ray must go from denser medium to rarer medium. This is the first condition. Second condition is that the angle of incidence in the denser medium must be greater than the value of critical angle in that medium. If it is more than critical angle, then only total internal reflection will take place. Otherwise, this phenomena will not take place. Now let's see the definition of total internal reflection. The phenomena in which a ray of light traveling at an angle of incidence greater than the critical angle from denser to a rarer medium is totally reflected back into the denser medium is called total internal reflection. These are the two necessary conditions for total internal reflection to take place, which we have discussed. First one is that light must travel from an optically denser to an optically rarer medium, and second, the angle of incidence in the denser medium must be greater than the critical angle for the two media. Now let's see relation between critical angle and refractive index. From Snell's law, we know that sin I upon sin R equals to 2 mu 1 equals to 1 upon 1 mu 2. Now, I equals to IC, that is critical angle. At that time, when I equals to IC, R becomes 90 degree. Therefore, when we put I equals to IC, the value of R we put as 90 degree. So, here you can see sin IC upon sin 90 equals to 1 upon 1 mu 2. Sin 90 is 1. Okay, the value of sin 90 is 1. So, this equation can also be written like this: 1 mu 2 equals to 1 upon sin IC. If the rarer medium is air, then mu 1 equals to 1 and mu 2 equals to mu. So what we get? We get mu equals to 1 upon sin IC. That means refractive index of any medium is reciprocal, or we can say is equals to 1 upon sine of a critical angle for that medium. Okay. Thus the refractive index of any medium is equal to the reciprocal of the sine of its critical angle. You must remember this formula. Now let's discuss applications of total internal reflection. The first application given here is sparkling of diamond. Okay, so when diamond is found in its natural form, it looks like a stone only. Okay. Normal people cannot identify easily that it is diamond. But when we polish diamond, so we make some cuts in them. You all have seen the diamond, okay? How so many cuttings are there? So that cutting and polishing makes the sparkling of diamond possible. Okay, so the edges, the different edges in diamond are cut in such a manner that when light rays enter inside it, so in course of coming out from diamond to air, they get trapped. How they get trapped? When we do the polishing of diamond, so cutting is made in such a manner that when light ray try to come out from the diamond, when they fall on the edges of diamond, they make an angle which is greater than the critical angle of diamond. Are you understanding this? Okay, suppose the light ray enter the diamond. Now diamond is denser medium and air is rarer medium. So when the light rays try to come out from the diamond, so what happened? The faces are cut in such a manner that when the light ray falls on the edges, they make an angle which is greater than critical angle. In this way, they do not come out from the diamond, but they get trapped inside that because total internal reflection will take place there. The critical angle of diamond is only 24.4 degree, which is very small, and that's why the light rays get trapped inside diamond. Again and again total internal reflection will take place, and that's why they got collected inside it and they cannot come out. Hence the diamond sparkles when seen in the direction of emerging light. Second application is mirage. It is an optical illusion observed in deserts or over hot extended surfaces like a coal-tarred road, due to which a traveler sees a shimmering pond of water some distance ahead of him, and in which the surrounding objects like tree etc. appear inverted. During summer, if you are traveling, that you must noted that on road, when you see on road, so you feel that ahead you means at some distance there is water spread over the road. You feel like that. But when you reach at that point, so you see that there is no water. Okay, so that only is called mirage. When there is so much increase in temperature, okay, very hot weather is there, that time this phenomena of mirage appears. Actually what happened during summertime, because the temperature is very high, so the surfaces becomes very hot, so the air near the surface of earth becomes very hot and they start raising upward. Okay, because they are moving in upward direction. As the air continues moving in upward direction, so at some distance above the surface of earth, the air become very denser. Are you understanding this? Near the surface of earth, whatever air is present, that becomes hot. All the fluids are having a particular nature that they move from high temperature to low temperature. So near the surface of earth, temperature becomes very high. So air being a fluid, it starts moving upward. So when air moves upward, a little above from the earth's surface, the density of air becomes more in comparison with earth's surface. So on earth's surface, near earth's surface, the density of air is low, but a little above from the earth's surface the density is high. So there two optical mediums formed there. One is denser and one is rarer. And because of that only, when we try to look on the road, so what happened? See, here you can see this is surface of earth. Near the surface the density of air is very less, okay, and here hot airs are there. A little above from the surface cold airs are there and density is very high. Okay, so when we look from here, what we see? We see the inverted images of the object around us. So what we start feeling that there is water, and that's why inverted images are formed. But actually there is no water. Okay? These inverted images are formed because of total internal reflection. Suppose one tree is there in front of you. The light reflected back from tree tries to go down towards earth's surface. But because here denser medium is there, here rarer medium is there. So what happens when the light ray tries to go here? Because their angle is more than critical angle, they don't go in rarer medium, but they comes back in the denser medium. Okay? And when they comes back, they reach to our eyes and we feel that their inverted images are formed here. And like this we can see the inverted images of the object around us because of total internal reflection, not because any water is present there. Third application of total internal reflection is totally reflecting prisms. Okay, so what are totally reflecting prism? A right angle isosceles prism, that is the angles in the prism are 45 degree, 90 degree and 45 degree. Okay, these type of prisms are called totally reflecting prism. Now these prisms work in three ways. First is to deviate a ray through 90 degree. Okay, now you all focus on this diagram. Suppose here is one object AB and we want its image which is deviated by 90 degree. That means if it is in vertical position, we want its image to be in horizontal position. So that time we will use this prism in this position. Okay, 90 degree down one and here is 45 degree, here is 45 degree and 90 degree one is on base. Okay, when we put the prism like this, that time what happened? This is the ray coming from point A. Here it got totally reflected. Okay, this is one denser medium. Prism is denser medium, air is rarer medium. So when the light ray enter in prism, it is normal to the surface. That's why it simply enter here. No refraction will take place. And when it reaches here, its angle is more than critical angle. So here total internal reflection will take place and that's why it moves this side. In place of going out from prism, it bend here. After bending it becomes normal, so it comes out. Same thing happened with the ray which is coming from point B. Here total internal reflection take place and this ray also will come out. So in this manner we can see that here one object was vertical but we get its image as horizontal. Okay, so here we are using this prism in which total internal reflection is taking place. Then another way of using this prism is that to invert an image with deviation of rays through 180 degree. Now we want to totally invert the image upside down and downside up. So that time how can we use these prism? Now you all focus in this image, this figure. Here is one object AB and we want its inverted image, that is upside down. So here you can see these rays are entering, total internal reflection is taking place When these rays are coming here, again total internal reflection is taking place and then they are coming out. Similarly, the ray from B, it is coming out like this. So now B reaches here, A reaches here. Okay, A was on top, but after two total internal reflection, A comes at bottom and B was at bottom, it comes at top. So here we can see that image is totally inverted. Third is to invert an image without deviation of rays. Without deviation means the position of image will not change but it get inverted. Here in this case what happened? Image is inverted but it got deviated also. This was the original position. Now after inverted we are getting image at a little bit down from the original position. Okay, below the original position. So here the image got deviated also. If we don't want to deviate the image, that means we don't want to change the position of image. We only want to invert that. So that time we can use prism in this position. So here is our image. When the light is entering, it got refracted. Light ray is refracted here. Here total internal reflection take place. Again one reflection. Similar thing happened here. Here refraction will take place. Here total internal reflection will take place. Again here refraction will take place. And we are getting one inverted image. Okay, this is inverted image but position not changed. At whatever height it was here, at same height it is here. Okay. So this was use of prism. Now tomorrow we will study about one very important application of total internal reflection, that is optical fibers. Today we are done with our video. Okay, see you in next lecture. Till then, goodbye, take care, do some productive work. And most important thing, start your preparation for your final examination.